Welcome to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and we have with us today one of our new hosts, Emily. We have old timer Jan. Can I call you an old timer? We're like the same age. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're two old timers with one youngin' in the middle.
We're originals.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have, as usual, we have a great show for today. Later on in the show, we're going to talk with Joseph Shannon, and he is the CEO of Shannon Law Group. He's going to talk to us about vaccine injuries and what to do about it if you have one. But first, Jan has a special guest.
I surely do. But even though I'm really excited to get going with him, I would like to introduce the viewers to him in this way. Take a look.
Well, at least he got the right state. You know, it's funny, we just pledged allegiance to the flag. And I was watching Trent pose for pictures out in front of the flag, and someone said, you know, that's a wet flag. I don't mind a wet flag as long as it's not a fallen flag. We pledged allegiance to a flag and to the republic for which it stands, not the democracy for which it stands, not for the federal government for which it stands, for the republic for which it stands. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but our rights as human beings, as citizens of this great country, have been under attack, and they've been under attack for decades. All they've done is come out of the closet and make it more obvious. Telling you, you have to wear a mask, or you got to get a shot. Now they're telling you, we're going to search all your social media posts, and if we don't like what you say, we're going to turn you over to somebody to shut you down. And if we shut you down on one, we're going to shut you down on everybody. Does that sound like liberty and justice for all?
It surely doesn't to me. Everybody, welcome Paul Engel to the show. Thanks for coming, Paul.
Thanks, Jen, and thank you, ladies, for carving out some time for me here. This is a great opportunity.
We are so excited to learn more. I found out myself last fall that I knew way too little about our U.S. Constitution. I ordered 500 of them and started handing them out at my business. I got a lot of people saying, why would I need to learn this? And what you just said there, it was just everything in a nutshell. We don't even know what we're losing. And you have formed the Constitution Study online, and that's where I met you and have learned quite a bit the very few times that I've been able to be there for the whole class. Shame on me as a student. But can you kind of let our viewers know a little bit about why you got it started, how they can learn about the Constitution, and so forth?
Well, yeah, you know, I'm a product of public schools. As you can tell by the hair, it was quite a few years ago. And to me, the Constitution didn't matter. It was for lawyers, it was for judges, it was for politicians. What did it matter to me? And I finally heard a historian, a gentleman by the name of David Barton, who didn't put me to sleep. And while I was listening to him, he quoted one of our founding fathers, a gentleman by the name of John Jay. And he said, every member of the state ought diligently to read and study the Constitution of his country and teach the rising generation to be free. By knowing their rights, they're sooner perceived when they're violated and be the better prepared to defend and assert them. And I took that as a challenge. I realized I'd never read the Constitution. I sat down and I read it, and two things really got my attention. One was how much I had not been taught in school, how much about the Constitution they never covered, it was never taught. But what really got me was how much I had been taught was actually wrong. And that's when the idea started running to study more, to learn more about it. And then one day I'm driving home from a Bible study at a friend's house, listening to some of the statistics about how little we know. There's a group that does an annual survey about the First Amendment. And in this particular survey, 36% of those surveyed could not name a single freedom protected by the First Amendment. And I just kind of had that moment, right? That head slap moment. Why don't we study the Constitution the way my friends and I just studied the Bible? Small groups, just people getting together, reading it, trying to understand what it means. And I find it's not that hard. It was written so an 18th century farmer could understand it. We should be able to get together as 21st century Americans and understand it, because it is the tool that allows us to protect our rights. And without understanding the Constitution, you're going into battle without any arms.
So do you think that it's a failure on the part of the school system or just us as individuals that we don't even know our rights?
We'd all like to blame it on the school, right? It's the government's fault. It's the school's fault. Ultimately, it's our fault, right? Because the schools were put in place so that to educate our children for us, not to become daycare centers, not to be devoid of parental participation. And so ultimately, everything tends to end in our lap, right? No matter what government does, government is formed to serve the people, not the other way around. James Garfield said that now more than ever, the people are responsible for the character of their Congress. If it be ignorant, reckless, and corrupt, it's because the people tolerate ignorance, recklessness, and corruption. And that's true for pretty much any aspect of government, including public schools.
So can you tell us a little bit more about your website and what's offered there?
Yeah, so after reading and studying and putting together my first study, I ended up moving from the empire in New York State, run like an empire. I moved down to Middle Tennessee, and I didn't have the same contacts. I didn't have the people to sit and meet with because I was new to the area. Circumstances came along, I ended up writing a book. And as I'm writing this book and studying the details of the Constitution, I'm like, I really want to engage other people with this. So I started a website, the Constitution Study. By the way, that's also the name of the book, so it kind of works really well. And it's based on this idea that everyday Americans can read and study the Constitution for ourselves. You don't need a law degree. You don't need to go to law school. In fact, that's probably the worst place to learn about the Constitution is law school. The book and the website turned into a podcast, turned into a video, a weekly video, turned into now I'm on America Out Loud Radio 5 days a week, talking about what's going on, looking at it from a constitutional standpoint.
Paul, I have a question for you. You said that we know less than an 18th century farmer knew about the Constitution. Why do you think that is? I mean, what's the difference? Why were they understanding our Constitution and what their rights were, but today we don't bother?
Well, I think for them, it was new, right? Remember, we had just fought a war for our independence. We had just fought a war that said the states would be free and independent. And then they come along with this document that says, let's join together and fix this union we created. And we're going to put all these things in it. And it was new and it was fresh and people were interested in it. Now, 245 years later, it's like the American people assume freedom and liberty are the natural state of affairs, that it's odd for your rights to be infringed upon. It's odd for your liberty to be repressed. So we don't pay attention to it. It's not new. It's not exciting. We don't value it. And we don't pass it on to the next generation. I wasn't taught it, and the next generation isn't being taught it, and it's quickly disappearing.
Well, I am hoping, I don't know about you, I'm hoping that the more people are able to get in touch with things that will give them that value will be just like your website, will be more readily available and findable.
Right, and we'll talk more about what kind of rights we need to be concerned about, which ones are most at risk right now and most being threatened when we come back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after-hours oasis of sanity. Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.com. beck.news.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and I'd also like to welcome back Paul Engel, who is a constitutional scholar. And I think most of us feel we don't really know our Constitution like we should. So thank you for making this your mission, right? To help people become more enlightened and aware. Paul, what do you see as the rights that are most endangered right now?
Well, there are a lot of rights. It would be hard to pick out one, but I'd say probably, the root cause, the most important one is the right to consent to government. The Declaration of Independence says, when it lists, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Most of us recognize that. But it goes on to say, and to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Now, look at what's going on in Washington or in your state house and ask yourself, are you consenting to what that government is doing, or are they telling you what they're going to do? We consent to government when we wrote the Constitution. We said, here are the powers. When we did it for our states, we said, here are the powers that the state government has. That's it. When we created the U.S. Constitution, these are the powers. Yet those powers are so routinely ignored. Those limitations are ignored. People not only allow it, they expect it. When I was researching my book, there's a website that lists all of the agencies and departments in the executive branch. And I went through each and every one of them and said, all right, where's the constitutional authority for that? The 10th Amendment says if it's not an authority, it's not a power delegated to the United States, they are not allowed to exercise it. And I found that 90% of the departments and agencies in the executive branch have no constitutional authority at all. 90%. If we can't consent to our own government, there's nothing else to protect any of the other rights that are being violated.
Okay, so Paul, what would be a good way to get school-age kids, young adults, excited about it at a young age? So as we're growing older, we're aware of all these rights that we have, and what can we do to get young adults involved?
I love working with children. I work with a lot of homeschool groups. I have a lot of Q&As with college-age students, mainly because they don't know what they don't know. The biggest thing with children, with young adults, generally somewhere around 13 years old, I think is a really good time to introduce them to the concepts. It's, what does it matter to me? Most often what happens, they get a book, they go to class, they say, okay, in 1878, these men signed this document and it says that. We don't apply it to themselves. We don't turn around and say, well, okay, what does this concept of freedom of religion mean to you? Not simply, okay, can you pray in class? Can you not pray in class? We look at freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom to peaceably assemble, freedom to petition your government for redress of grievances. Those first four all deal with your conscience. Can government tell you how to think, what to say, what to believe, who you can associate with? And when you start looking at that way, the children start saying, hey, this is important to me. It's not simply, three branches of government and I get to vote. These are things that I value. And by knowing these rights, by understanding why they're organized the way they are and where I can point to them and say, this is protected here, we've given them a reason to be interested. And then once you start that, the most interesting thing, when I wrote my book, I actually had a disagreement with my editor because it's a very conversational tone. It's designed to be, to not be academic, not to be large words. It's designed to be a conversation to encourage people to read and study for themselves. And that's not the way most books like this are written. And the people who have reviewed this for me like the fact that they can pick it up and it's an easy way to comprehend not only the facts and the details, but stories and analogies to help put it into a context so that it makes sense to them and then they can apply it.
Okay.
Well, we saw the clip at the beginning that you were with Trent Luce at the Arise USA tour, but
Yes,
you have taken it on the road. You've become a lot more mobile. You have the Know Your Rights tour, and you will be at the Midwest Freedom Fest here in Menoken, which is just outside of Bismarck, this coming Saturday. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening with those two events?
So yeah, when this whole COVID stuff started, there were rights being trampled left, right, and center. And most people that I talked to knew something was wrong, but couldn't really articulate it or how to defend it. And I came up with this little idea of knowing your rights, and I'm taking it on the road. And I have 6 cities in 6 days where I'm going to be talking to people about, understanding what is your right, how do we defend them, how do we assert them, and then answering questions. Because every time I do one of these things, there's a Q&A session because people have questions. Now, I've been invited to, this is my second year now at Midwest Freedom Fest. I'm actually doing 2 sessions. I'm going to be doing not only the Knowing Your Rights tour, but a deeper understanding of checks and balances. As I said, we were taught in school checks and balances. Well, as Paul Harvey used to say, there's a rest of the story. And that's what I'm going to be talking about this Saturday in Menoken Grove.
So do you have other stops in the Midwest then, or is it just regional for now? Or
right now, I'm going to be in Grand Forks, Killdeer, Menoken Grove, Tioga. I'm also going to be in Thermopolis and Douglas, Wyoming. I'm trying to set something up down in Tampa Bay and Vero Beach, Florida. I would love to get back up to the Northeast. Like I said, I lived most of my life in New York. I'd love to go meet them, meet old friends and family. I have someone that's been trying to get me up to the Pacific Northwest. My biggest problem right now is the airlines are so stupid, I don't trust them to fly. I love flying. I don't trust the airlines. So there's a lot of travel involved. And that puts in a lot of logistics of, how do we get there, and mileage and hotels and venues and advertising, and what happens if something changes. It is quite an endeavor, but I'm so excited. I'm so looking forward. I'm actually getting ready to hit the road tomorrow morning, and I've got this nervous anticipation because I get to meet people face to face, and I haven't been able to do much of that for the last year and a half.
Hey, Paul, what's the best way for us to keep track of you and know where you're adding cities on your tour, what time you're going to be there? What's the best site?
So the Constitution Study is the best site. If you go to constitutionstudy.com/tour, That's the tour page that has the description. It has the calendar. You can donate if you want to help support the work that we're doing. And if you want me to come to you, well, there's a form at the bottom. You can fill it out. And if we can make it happen, I don't charge for these events. This is all on to me, this is so important. I really want to, I really want to be out with the people. I don't want it to be, well, we can't afford it. So it's more a question of, can we work out the logistics? And then how many people can we get to show up? I've been lucky. A lot of the people coming out of North Dakota and Wyoming, I've got sheriffs coming. I got local elected officials coming. I've got families. I'm doing one whole session in Grand Forks just for students. So there's a great opportunity there.
Wonderful. Thank you, Paul, for all this work and just putting yourself out there. And we have viewers across the country. So if you're interested in calling Paul to your area, it's constitutionstudy.com, right?
That's right.
Contact you through that. So thank you, Paul, and we'll maybe hear more talk. We'll report on your weekend talk by next week. So thanks, Paul, and we'll be right back with Joseph Shannon with the Shannon Law Group to talk about vaccination injuries when we come back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Go for Launch 2018 series winner. Without further ado, it is my honors. Regina. The winning team is the Fleming River Excellence.
Oh my God!
They won!
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm coming to you with the most important commercial that I've ever done. All of you know what MyPillow and myself have gone through in the last 5 months in my efforts to bring the truth forward. Well, it's all come down to this. I'm having a cyber symposium on August 10th, 11th, and 12th. This historical event will be live streamed 72 hours straight on my new platform, frankspeech.com. You can help by getting everybody you know to go to frankspeech.com now. To help support this Cyber Symposium event, I am offering some of the best prices ever on MyPillow products, but they're only offered at frankspeech.com. Go to frankspeech.com now and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below to receive these exclusive MyPillow offers. Thank you and God bless.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car! How will we? The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing. But how will we? The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. And we are going to talk about vaccine injuries this next segment. And we have with us Joseph Shannon, who is a personal injury lawyer. And he's also the CEO of Shannon Law Group. Welcome to the show, Joseph.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
I've known you for a few years, and I just found out right before we went on that you live in Chicago. I thought it was Oregon.
Yeah.
But both have good attributes, both states. But you actually are a personal injury lawyer, and you offer a number of free books that can be downloaded to help clients out, help anybody out that wants to know what their rights are. And we want to talk about right now your book on understanding the vaccine injury compensation program. Injuries
Sure.
Vaccine injuries are a lot in the news right now. And tell us a little bit about what you do to help people.
Sure. Well, it's a relatively historically a new program in that before 1986, you really couldn't get compensated for a vaccine injury. And then Congress decided that it wanted folks to have no inhibitions about getting vaccines. And so they created this vaccine injury compensation program. And so it's been ongoing since then. And, it's become a hot topic, obviously, as we're living in that's the hottest topic that we talk about now is vaccines. But it's been ongoing for, since 86. And, our practice has grown substantially representing these folks.
So we've seen a lot of people talk about VAERS, and now I'm seeing VICP for the Vaccination Injury Compensation Program. One feeds into the other. Is that not correct?
So the one thing that that is true is the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program is an adequate program, but it needs to be more robust. For example, this VICP, I'll call it, does not cover any COVID vaccines. And so that's a big gap because, if the government wants folks to get the vaccine, we all know there's going to be some people that are going to have side effects. I mean, that's why they set this up. And so I'll explain some of the economics of it. For every dose that's given since the late 80s, 75 cents of that dose goes into this fund for the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. And there's about $4 billion in there. And so somebody that gets injured through a serious side effects from a vaccine, has the ability to file a petition if their vaccine is covered and the injury is covered. And so there's a limited number of vaccines that are covered. And there's a limited number of injuries that are covered, but it's all public information. So that's why we wrote a book to make it more simple. And we're more than happy to provide that book to folks so they can read it, understand it. But the most important part about it is there's strict time deadlines for people filing these. So typically, if somebody injured has 3 years from the date of the injection to file a petition, or 2 years from the state has 2 years from the date somebody passes away due to it. So we're trying to get more information out so folks understand this.
Two things I want to point out. First of all, you can go to shannonlawgroup.com, and you have a lot of booklets that people can download for free, right?
Yes, we mail them out directly. We're mailing out, a ton of them, and it's the best way. And also, you can download it from our website too. We'll direct you how to download it directly, so you don't get. If you want the hard copy, you can get it. If you don't, you like the computer. I mean, it was pretty funny, Patty. The other day, I was at a basketball game for my 12-year-old, and I was reading the Wall Street Journal, and this lady came up to me and said that her daughter had never seen somebody reading a newspaper before. Wow. So I'm a dinosaur.
Oh, I don't like to hear that. That sounds scary to me.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Some of this, like the information, it lines out what injuries are covered. Does your book and the website go through all of that for people, or is that?
Oh, exactly. It covers it
okay.
all. And so there's a specific table that will list every vaccine that's covered, and then what specific injuries are covered. And so, for example, some injuries, anaphylaxis, for example, has to occur within hours of the vaccination to be covered. And there's other injuries. Typically, an injury has to last for at least 6 months to be covered. There's exceptions, of course, but people can file these petitions on their own without a lawyer. The reason why we tell people to consider hiring a lawyer is because they don't pay attorney's fees. Typically, in my practice, I typically don't charge a fee unless we win. But in this case, the person will file the petition, whether they're do it with a lawyer or do it by themselves. And at the end, the fund will pay not only the petitioner, but they'll pay the attorney's fees. And so the attorney's fees are calculated on basically how much time the lawyer spends on the case rather than a percentage.
I'm wondering, how hard is it to prove that you were vaccine injured? I mean, you're taking these on for free, so you must know when they first come to you what their odds are that they're going to win their case.
Yes, typically so the lawyers that work here and the staff, and we have some great staff that work here that, Heather Sikora, who's our head paralegal on this, she's the first person that people talk to, and then John Svitek and Rhonda Pinato, Lorenz Pinato, they just know these cases inside and out. But basically, they'll know whether the specific vaccine is covered, and then they'll know whether or not the injury relating to that is covered. So they do it every day, 8 hours a day, so that they know it right off the bat.
So you said which vaccines are covered. Are not all vaccines included in this? Only certain ones?
No, for example, the biggest one is COVID right now. So what we're doing is we're asking people to contact their congressman, their senator, and get the COVID vaccines covered. Now, typically, the vaccines aren't covered until it becomes relatively safe for the vaccine to be administered to children and to pregnant mothers. So I don't know when that's going to happen for any of these COVID vaccines. I just don't know. But the way it works is that it's administered by the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And there's hearings that take place, and they determine whether or not specific vaccines are going to be covered. The book covers it all. So all they have to do is download it, and it'll tell you the specific vaccines that are covered. The flu vaccine, for example, is covered. It's been going for years. Tetanus shot covered. A lot of these ones that are the most familiar to us are covered.
That's a little alarming that they wait until it's safe for children. When it's safe,
or for pregnant women,
and pregnant women, then we'll start covering it. So when it's not safe, they don't cover it.
But they don't test it on pregnant women. So how can they determine it's safe?
Well, so as we're all living this. We've lived it since March of 2020. That this vaccine that people are getting, it wasn't the most robust testing that took place compared to the other ones. So this is uncharted waters for a lot of us. But my feeling is that if folks want, the government wants folks to get vaccinated, they should basically cover under this program.
That makes sense. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this. We have a lot more questions when we come back after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's best contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and also welcome back to Joseph Shannon, who is the CEO of Shannon Law Group. We are talking about vaccine injuries and how to protect yourself, and we're going to get back to the fact that there is no compensation right now if you're injured from the COVID vaccine. We got some opinions on this, but let's go back to you. You offer a free book for people that want more information about vaccine injuries. They can just go to your website, and it's called Vaccine Injuries, Understanding the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. And it's everything you need to know and more. And it's for free, so I recommend you go to the shannonlawgroup.com. They have a tab that says books. There's that book and many more you can inform yourself on.
Perfect. So I have a question for you, Joseph. So how can you kind of explain, who are you fighting in court against? I mean, when you're taking this to court, it's not against the manufacturers, or is it? Can you explain that to us?
So the way it works is, and the reason why I like the whole way it works is it's a market fund, in that the folks that are manufacturing the vaccine, for 75 cents of every dose goes into this fund, and there's over $4 billion in it. And in that fund is money that is meant to compensate people that have side effects due to covered vaccines. And so we file the petitions on their behalf, and we do it all electronically. It's administered by a special master in Washington, D.C. And on the other side is U.S. Department of Justice attorneys who are very, very good at what they do. They know this inside and out, and they represent the government to make sure that the folks that are seeking compensation are covered. It is a covered vaccine, and the damages. So the damages that you can recover, the maximum that you can recover for pain and suffering is $250,000, which in some of the cases that we handle, that is really not even close to being enough. There is no limit on the amount of lost wages that a person can recover, past and future, as well as medical bills past and future. So the whole idea is to make the person somewhat whole, although on a non-economic damage standpoint, that's not going to happen. But it's something. And now, as far as the COVID vaccine goes, there is a program that people can go through. It's just that it is such a I don't know, it doesn't really cover anything other than a minute number of damages. In fact, there's no pain and suffering allowed in that one. So we're pressing and we're hoping that the public will press the representatives and senators to add the COVID vaccines to this program.
I personally feel outraged that there is so much pressure, that there are so many groups, including the president wants it, talking about mandating it and pressuring us, but there's no coverage for injuries. That seems to be a big disconnect. What do you think about that?
Well, like I said, it's like there's this small little program that typically lawyers don't handle because it doesn't pay attorney's fees, and it doesn't cover non-economic damage. I think it's an outrage as well, Patty. To me, if I'm running the program, I'm going to make sure that I give no people a reason not to get it, especially if I'm the government and I'm trying to force mandates. I mean, there is a known group of people that are going to have side effects from vaccines. I mean, that's why they have this program. So, and I'm hopeful that they'll push it through. There are congressmen and senators considering this right now, and I'm hopeful that they'll make it a priority.
Well, I've seen that there's a lot of people that know that there's the VAERS program to report, with their doctor to report that they've had some type of adverse reaction and something that they think is debilitating. How do they take it to that next level where they actually contact you or some type of attorney to take it forward to see if there's some type of compensation?
So it's pretty painless. They can go to our website, shannonlawgroup.com, and contact us. We have an 800 number there too, a toll-free number. But typically what we do is we file a petition on their behalf, and hopefully we're getting a call within the 3-year period or the 2-year for a wrongful death, because those are the heartbreaking calls. I mean, I've gotten calls where it was 4 years ago. They never knew about the program. So public awareness is a big thing here. So, and then people should be, the one thing that I want to make sure is that our public becomes much more educated. There's so much information out there that is at your fingertips now. I mean, it used to be when I was a kid, I had to go to the library and look through these big books, et cetera. I mean, on the internet is this whole program. The HHS puts it on there. You can read about it. There's summaries like we have in our book, but it's a relatively painless thing, and we deal with people throughout the 50 states that call us, and U.S. Court of Claims. Our attorneys are members there, so that's why we're able to handle those petitions. So it's relatively easy.
So what led you to do this for the public? I mean, what turns you onto this subject specifically? So
there was a person in my parish out here in Chicagoland. We call it Chicagoland. It's kind of funny, but it's in the suburbs of Chicago, that had got a vaccine and had this horrible injury because of it. And so I became educated on it. I said, listen, I will handle this for you. So I handled that first case along with my colleague, Patrick Cummings, and we handled that. And then we had a number of cases over the years, but then when, beginning of last year in 2020, I saw this as becoming much more of a public policy type thing. And so since that time, we've decided to make it one of our missions of our firm to help out people that are injured because of vaccines. And I'll tell you, it's in all 50 states. We get tons of calls of cases that aren't covered. We listen to them. We make sure we look at their case thoroughly, and the ones that we can't help them, we do. And I tell you, the phone is ringing a lot for these types of things, and I'm hopeful that we never have to do these things, but I don't think that time's coming anytime soon.
How many calls are you getting, would you say, on people wondering, even though you're not covering COVID, you can't do anything about it right now, how many calls are you getting about COVID vaccines?
I would say that we get probably in a week's time we get about 20 calls in a week.
And those are people that feel they've been injured and they want to know if there's any compensation possible?
Yeah, there's no doubt they're injured. It's just whether or not it's covered. So what we've done is we've kept track of the folks that have called us with COVID injuries, and we're hopeful that Congress will act and HHS will act to add this vaccines, and then hopefully we'll be able to tell them, hey, it's covered now, and we can file the petition for you, because we just don't want to take these calls from these folks and say, listen, too bad, see you later. We want to make sure that if it does change, we'll get them the information that said, hey, listen, the law's changed. Now you can file your petition.
In a lot of industries or even across government entities, there are people that we call heroes that are standing up for what they believe to be truth and against somebody else. You guys are standing against giants. Are you getting any pushback?
Not really. I mean, listen, our thing with, in my practice, I've been practicing law for about 30 years. I worked for about 8 years for big companies and insurance companies, and about, the last 20 plus years, representing people. And, in those cases, I'm up against, large insurance companies, big law firms, that type of thing. So that's never been really, I'm one of 10 kids. I'm rarely intimidated in these type of settings, but in this thing, we're not up against anything really. We're up against, we just want to make sure that the clients get represented, and so does the Department of Justice, I believe.
I do appreciate the work that you're doing. And, I don't have any lawyer jokes. And I know that you're a lawyer, a personal injury lawyer, so you probably hear them. But I can say that I got to know Joseph because he was helping out with one of our sons who we had some questions about, and he just stepped in and helped out. So I know you're a good, decent person, and I'm glad to know you're looking out for vaccine-injured people. So thank you so much for joining us today, Joseph. And
it's great. It was great to be with you guys.
We'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity.
How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having flea stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are already at our lighter side. I say that every time. We're already at our lighter side.
Goes so fast.
Yes, it does. Time goes fast when you're having fun, and we're having fun.
There you go.
Right? And we're going to have some more fun because we're going to talk about fads. Every era, every generation has its fads. And once we're past them, we look back and say, how was that ever popular? Let's look at some of the fads from the past. Okay, I don't think I'm old enough for this.
Oh,
but
come on.
Look at this.
Yes, you are. Sorry.
Jan, be quiet.
I have the nowadays.
Do you have one at home,
I have
Jan?
the nowadays version of it. It's called a vibe plate. It just doesn't wrap around your tush like that. You actually stand on it, and it does that type of vibration.
So you still stand on it, though?
You stand on it. Yes, you do. And
Well, in case people don't know what this is,
I don't. So
it's a
tell us.
vibrating. It's a vibrating belt, and it's supposed to take your fat off. All you have to do is stand there, and it's going to shake your fat off.
They weren't so far from the truth.
Really?
There's lots of benefits.
I had no idea.
So it does work.
It does work.
I was
You
going
know,
to
it
make fun
helped.
of it.
I know, but it helped strain your lymph system and everything. I mean, come on.
Okay, well
Lowers
then.
blood pressure.
I was just going to make fun of it. Okay.
Breaks up
At least it
cellulite.
works. At least
I
it
think
works.
Jan sells them
Yeah,
on the
she-
side, I'm thinking.
don't,
So
but
let's look at some more
spokesperson.
fads. What else did we used to think was cool? Who knows what that is?
It's a mood ring.
Yes. Okay.
Very good. I didn't think you'd know that.
They still sell them everywhere.
Do
They're-
they?
Yes,
Oh,
they
okay,
do.
well, see, it was a fad, I thought, so I haven't watched for it.
Well, so Emily knew that was a mood ring, and now they do them for fun. But when
Mm-hmm.
they first came out, I think
Oh,
it
my
was
goodness, yes.
70s, they 1st came out, and they had a little chart. And depending on, they would turn brown and purple and blue, and they would tell you what your mood was.
Okay. They're not quite, you can see them random places nowadays, but definitely not that big of a deal
Probably
anymore.
like gas
No.
stations.
Yeah. Like a
People
little
aren't
trinket
as
you can pick
gullible
up.
now. Back then, I think they thought, oh, you can tell your mood. Well, I know a funny joke. A husband said that his wife got a mood ring, and he can tell what her mood is from it because whenever he has a little indentation in his forehead, she's in a bad mood.
Perfect.
I'm not advocating for violence or
Yeah.
anything, but I thought it was funny. And we have a couple more. Who knows what that is? Emily? What could that be?
A rock.
It's
Yes.
a pet rock.
Yeah,
Come
not
on.
just any. Not just any.
Did you
rock.
have a pet rock?
I didn't, but my kids, I think, did. They came in this crazy little box that looked like a crate. I mean, they really hyped it up. It
Oh,
was
so you didn't
something.
just go outside, pick a rock, and say, this is my
Oh,
pet
no.
rock?
No, that's what they do
You
today.
had to buy them, Emily.
Okay.
No, my grandson has been finding rocks in the park in the town that they live in. Somebody paints it, decorates it, puts a really cool saying on it and says that, when you find this, then you
yeah.
need to go hide it somewhere else for
Isn't that
somebody
cool?
else to
That's really
find.
cool.
Love it.
I have found some. That is really cool. I love that. The pet rock, some company made them and sold them, and they had them like in a little kennel type.
And people were
Interesting.
brilliant enough to buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spend money
spend
on
money
Became a
on
big
them.
industry. Wow.
But we have one more fad that's my favorite. Oh, no, okay. We have two more. Okay, this one is not my favorite. Do you know what this is? Anybody?
Well, it reminds me of like the Where's Waldo thing.
Yeah, like what am I looking
I'm
for?
looking for something specific, or you
They
stare at
are-
it long enough and there's a picture there or
Yes,
whatever.
yes, that's exactly what it was. I think they were called the Magic Eye, and you would just stare at them, and a whole nother picture shows up. I never could do it. I don't know. You would stare at them. I don't think you can do it. Yeah, there's a baseball picture in here. And if you, I think you'd have to stare and your vision would get kind of blurry and all of a sudden you could see the picture in it and I failed at it. So I don't like this fad at all. But they used to see these pictures everywhere. And now we have one more, my favorite fad. Leisure suits.
Woohoo! The Osmonds.
And I want to tell people, we have a producer that works here who ever since he's kind of into leisure suits. I think he's going to buy one.
Yeah, Christmas is coming.
These are the Osmonds. And so you might think these look like clown suits, but no, people used to dress like this.
I feel like people nowadays, that's coming back. It's coming back.
Oh, please, I hope not.
I do too. Well, I've seen the stretchy onesie ones for guys that, no, sorry.
The big bright plaid leisure suits, people wore those.
Yeah, with big boots and everything. Yeah. Usually the belt was really wide and a big buckle and well, we had beehive hairdos and all kinds of things back in the day too.
Everything comes back, so
they had those
you
big
never know.
shoes too. The guys wore those leisure suits and they had those like big high-heeled
Platforms.
shoes, platform shoes,
Yeah, well, you know, John Travolta wouldn't be famous for staying alive if not for those leisure suits.
But and you say they're coming back, Emily?
Everything comes back. I mean, think about it. Bell bottoms are back in style.
That's true. Hip huggers aren't back yet, though.
Corduroy's back. I mean, everything's
Did
back.
corduroy leave?
I mean, I don't know. I thought it did.
You mean I've been wearing corduroy all these years? Okay, all right. Well, we'll do another show on fads because there's
Today's the
a
last
whole lot
day
more
to
out there.
vote.
Oh yes, vote please for the best of the best. Go to your phone and you want to text, not dial. Text 701-369-9464, and then you text the number 699 to vote. Today's the last day, so vote for Beck just by doing this. And coming up next is Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow because we have lots more to talk about. A lot of good, interesting guests. So join us again next time with Ladies of Another View. I'm Beck.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made MyPillow machine washable and dryable. I back MyPillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
I used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go.
Go Anywhere pillow is really comfortable, so that's what I really like. It's nice and supportive and it's nice and small.
The MyPillow topper for the first time has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the MyPillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
MyPillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but so much more. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.